Hey guys, I cannot believe we're back for the final live stream of this academic year. Isn't that absolutely crazy? I can't believe it's results day tomorrow. Absolutely bonkers. I am so hot. I can't believe this kind of temperature is existing in the north of England, in Manchester right now. Is anybody else like as boiling hot as I am? It's absolutely insanely hot. And I'm in this room that's got like, it's had the light shining on it absolutely all day. Anyway, I wanted to do a little live stream today, mostly because I've been missing doing all these live streams. These live streams I have been missing so much. And what I wanted to do really is just kind of talk to you all a bit about how your summers have been. I would love if I could hear a highlight of your summer so far. Obviously, you've still got a lot of summer left before you either go to university or do whatever you're going to be doing next. At some point, I'll talk about some of the highlights of my summer that I've had as well. And yeah, I think I really want to kind of also talk to you a little bit about some of my advice and some tips that I'm going to give you for the next 24 hours really about what you should be doing for some of that. So it's going to be a mixture of different things that we have here. Oh my God, I'm absolutely boiling hot. Someone went to India. That's incredible. Where did you go in India? Jed, I haven't picked the t-shirts yet. I'm still going to have a few more weeks for that to be open. I'm going to mention that a little bit during this session as well. But I've had some really, really cool design things as well, which is really cool. Your highlight is work. No, Maisie, I've missed you too. I've noticed you in so many of the chats. There's these like little crowns which says like crown number 3, crown number 2. I wonder what that means. Oh, someone went to Paris. That's so cool. Regio went to Paris. Love that. Okay, so what I probably will do right now is I do want to kind of talk to you about some of my like tips for tomorrow, and then hopefully I'll do a bit of distraction around some of the things that I've been doing, and then if there's any questions, we'll be talking about yeah, just I can answer some of your questions as well. Gosh, I haven't done one of these for ages. It feels very strange doing this. If someone says it's XP next to it, I wonder what XP actually means. I know it's experience, but like how did they get that? Anyway, okay, so the poll that we've got here, I want to see what people have actually said so far. We've got like a third of people saying they just want it over with, dreading it, nervous. Only 14% of people are currently saying that they are excited. I remember that feeling of you've been probably like nervous about it for such a long time. It's such a unique kind of experience where it's just building up to one set day. I remember having that feeling of just wanting it over with. I just want to know exactly what I've got in these exams so I can make a plan of what I'm going to be doing next. Now, I should probably add, having like nerves tonight and nerves in the morning is so natural and such a healthy part of this experience. And I was speaking to somebody about this earlier and saying that if you are, you know you're going to get a bad night's sleep tonight. So if you're going to be lying there in bed, it's also a boiling hot night and you can't sleep, you do just need to say to yourself, I'm probably not going to get much sleep tonight. I'm going to get a few hours sleep, and you know what? I'll have all the adrenaline tomorrow that will get me through the day when I'm celebrating, when I'm with my friends and my family and all of that kind of stuff. So when I have something that's quite big the next day or something that's nerve-wracking, not something that you need to perform. If you need to perform, you want to have a really good night's sleep. But if this is something where, you know, you're just getting your results, you don't need to have had a really good night's sleep. So none of that kind of stress about a good night's sleep at all. I personally, when I get nervous like that, I like don't eat. I like stop eating, which is not a healthy thing at all. But if you can think of anything that you can do that relaxes you, I don't know, walking, taking a bath, like anything that you think that relaxes you, music, just do that. Treat yourself to anything that you want tonight as well. Someone's saying, how was my summer? I will tell you all about my summer after we go through some of these things as well. And I'm going to talk about the process with clearing and things like this as well. So this is an important part. If you are feeling like something could potentially go wrong tomorrow, that means that you're not going to have the grades that are going to give you your firm choice. What I would like you to do, either now or as soon as this live stream is finished, probably about 30 minutes it'll be, maybe not even that long. I want you to just dedicate 30 minutes or an hour of this evening, if you think that something might potentially have gone wrong with not being able to get your firm choice, just spend that hour now making a plan of what you do tomorrow. So if you think, okay, I'm not going to get the grades for my firm choice, but I think I could get them for my insurance choice, am I happy? Am I going to take the insurance choice? My thinking is just get to university. If you've put it as an insurance choice, you must like it. But have a think about that. Is that something that you would be happy with doing? And if you're happy with doing it, You don't ever need to think in the future, oh, but I got my insurance, I never got my firm, telling people that all the time. You just go, I'm really happy. I'm going to this other university that's fantastic. And you don't need to keep reliving that and telling people about it. You just go, great, I'm going to X university and it's going to be fantastic. If you think that maybe you're not going to get the insurance choice or that you're not happy with the insurance choice, this is where I would probably recommend you having like a really firm contingency plan of what your next steps are. Now, I'm sure that you have got an adult at the school, whether it's like a head of sixth form, a form tutor, a teacher, someone that you know is going to be there on results day that you trust. If you know that your results aren't going to be quite what you wanted, or you open the envelope and it's not quite what you were expecting, like a homing missile, find that teacher and go and speak to them and say, hey, I really need some support with this. I think I can go through clearing. I've got these grades. And again, think through what you would be willing to accept for clearing. Think like, which universities are you like, actually, you know what? I really liked that university when I went and looked around it. It was one of them that I put down on my list. If you have those universities and you're ready to think, I would go to those, then you still have an opportunity to go to university that would have been one that you might have even put as a firm or insurance in the past. So if you do go through clearing or you do take an insurance choice, it is not a failure. In fact, it's a complete success because you're going to university, you've done your A-levels, and you're ready to go with this kind of stuff, okay? So, yeah, someone's just said, like, your firm and your insurance choices are top unis. There might be other places that you can do through clearing that are also top unis. There might also be some places that are not listed as, like, the top 10 for your course, but it doesn't matter. You do not need to be competing about absolutely everything. You just want to go to somewhere that you can imagine yourself being happy, you can imagine yourself studying in, and to kind of make that decision to do it. So I know I've said an awful lot there, but what I'm really saying, if I condense that down into a nutshell, is I want you just to have a trusted adult that you can speak to when you're go to school for results day, if things haven't gone to plan, and to also have had this conversation maybe with your parents, maybe talking to them about what it would be like for clearing, possibly what it would be like for adjustment as well. I think they still do adjustment. And just to have that mental preparation now, because if you get your results and you haven't thought about that and something does go wrong, which of course, touch wood, we don't want that to happen. You don't want to do all of that thinking when you're stressed and when you're full of adrenaline. You want to do that thinking now, okay? So that might be something that would be worth you kind of thinking about with some of these things that we have here, okay? I'm not sure about how the process of clearing actually works because that's not something that I've actually done before. I've not gone through that process with students that we've got there, okay? I'm not sure about grade boundaries. I'm looking forward to hearing what they are. I mean, if there's anything to go from previous years, they're always high, getting higher. Who knows? But we'll see about what kind of happens with that. So that's kind of my tips about like a contingency plan that I really do want you to kind of reflect on. And then this is something that is very, very important to me personally. When you are there at results day, you all care about how your friends do, right? You genuinely care about them because they're your friends. So something I would really like you to be conscious of when you are asking people what grades they got is to rephrase that question that you ask them. So rather than saying to a friend, oh, what grades did you get? What grades did you get? It's much nicer to say to them, are you happy with the grades that you got? Have you got into uni? Are you proud of how you did? Are you pleased with how your results came out? Because it's a subtle different way of asking about it, because then they can say, yeah, I'm so happy with my grades. And you don't need to know what grades they got. It doesn't matter to you what grades that they got. The only thing that really matters is, are you happy? Are your friends happy? And the reason I say this is because if you imagine someone who has been aiming to get like CCC, some people would say that that is not what they want, right? Some people would say they want to have AAA star. But the person who's aiming for that CCC, who then gets maybe CCB, is so proud of themselves. And what happens is you say to them, what grades did you get? And then you reply and say, oh, I got 3A stars. And then they sort of feel not so good about how they did. So what I'm really trying to say here is it's completely relative for how people should be feeling about their grades. So if I were you, I'd love it if when you speak to a friend tomorrow, you just say, are you pleased with how you did? It's not a competition. The competition's over. The competition was over when you put your pens down in the exam hall, right? So if I were you, That's what I'd really like you to kind of say to people as well, okay? I'm not going to be doing a live stream tomorrow, but what I am doing is I'm going to be doing a video where people can kind of leave comments and stuff behind on that, because people are doing all different kinds of things at different times. So I'm going to do a video that will come on tomorrow where I would love to kind of hear from you guys about how you do with this kind of stuff. Yes, oh my gosh, that's so good. Someone said, if someone gets 2 A stars and an A and is like, oh no, I did so bad, I didn't get 3 A stars. Just be like really mindful of what you say and how it can impact on other people, because this is a really, really stressful day for so many people. And I think the number one thing that we should have after just checking your own grades should be about being kind and considerate to other people, because it's a stressful time. It's a really, really stressful time. And plus, everyone then comes away, you're just like, yeah, all my friends were happy. I don't care if they got 3 A stars, 3 Ds, whatever. They're happy. And they might say, I'm really happy with like maths and biology, but actually physics was really challenging and I didn't do so good with that kind of stuff. Okay? What else did I want to say to you? Okay, this is another really, really important one. I want you to take the time when you're very proud of how you've done tomorrow. I want you to take the time to really feel that emotion of happiness and of pride for at least 4, 5 days, 6 days, 7 days. I really want you to kind of really lean into feeling so proud and so happy of yourself before moving on. Because I think what happens these days is sometimes we get good news and we feel happy about it for like a few hours, and then really quickly we're like, oh, now I've got a plan for going to university. Oh, and I've got first year exams, and suddenly we forget all of this this achievement that we've done and all this hard work that we've put in. So when you get the grades that you're wanting tomorrow, which is going to happen, I want you to really reflect on the last 2 years, the times you felt like giving up, the late nights that you had, the stress before the exams, helping out your friends, your teachers helping you out, watching my live streams. I want you to think of all of those things, and I want you to be really, really proud of yourself. And I don't want you to move on from this kind of stuff too quickly, because this is the whole point of putting time and energy into something. You're growing this amazing flower. You want to look at the flower and enjoy it for what it is. You don't want to just sort of move on right to the next thing, okay? I know there's probably some questions that have been coming up in the live chat. So if there's anything that you've asked that I haven't answered, do mention it again later on, because I'll be looking at it in a bit more detail. But at the moment, there's just some of those things that I really wanted to say about some of these things, okay? And then I guess the last thing before I talk to you about some of my personal stuff, if you want to stick around and like hear about what I've been up to in the summer, I just would love to know how things go tomorrow. It doesn't have to be, I mean, obviously I want you all to have good news, and I feel like there is going to be good news. But even if you're just like, yeah, I was a bit disappointed, I just wanted to let you know, I will read through every comment. If you email me, my email address I'll put in the description of the video. If you want to email me because you don't want it to be public, I will do my very best to reply to absolutely everybody, because you deserve that. You deserve to, if you want to share something that's like personal like that with me, I would love to hear it. You also don't need to tell me the grades. You could just email me and say, I'm so proud of myself. I think I've done a really good job. And I would love to hear from you what unis you're going to go to, whether you're doing an apprenticeship, what course you're going to be studying, all of that kind of stuff. I would love to kind of hear about. And before I actually do the next bit, it's really funny. I always remember lots of results days where I have taught some students who have like worked so hard and they've done so well. Maybe they've got like A star, A star, A, and then they missed their uni because they didn't get the third A star. And they're left with this feeling of that they are not as good as they are, but they forget that they're not comparing themselves to how incredible those grades are that they've got. So if, touch wood, it won't happen, if something goes wrong, please try and remember how well you have done. I know that sounds really silly, but I feel really, really passionate about this stuff. Okay, I do feel really passionate. It's very strange to be someone whose entire like work is about supporting students with their A-levels. And then at the same time, I'm like, yeah, they are important, but they're not the most important thing in the world. They're important because you put a lot of time and energy into them. They're not important because they are inherently important that we've got here. Okay? So that's so nice. I'm trying to read some of the things in here as well. Someone's going to Scotland tomorrow afternoon after the exams. So you're just going to be happy and relaxing in Scotland. They are just a stop along the way. I love that. Exam results are just a stop along the way. the reason I think A-level results are so important is because they happen at a time where you are on the precipice of adolescence and adulthood. And I think that's why people remember A-level results day so strongly, because you are about to embark on something where you really truly feel like an adult. And you will remember it, but it's not going to define the rest of your life. It's really not going to define the rest of your life. So what do you think we should do? Shall I answer some questions now, or shall I talk to you a little bit about my summer that I've got? What would you rather? I'm definitely going to do some questions, but I'll have a see what you'd rather me do in the chat, whether I should show you some photos from my summer and talk to you a bit about what I've been up to and then do questions, or whether we'll do questions first for this. We are going to do both. Oh, okay. I'm going to start off. I'll do the photos first, and then I'll do a bit of the Q&A stuff. Oh, I should remember, I've mentioned this before, right? But you know the merchandise contest? I've decided to keep it open until mid-September. I've had lots of people send in some amazing design submissions, but I'm going to leave it open until the middle of September because I figured that's when most people are going to be going to university. So you'll have your results and you'll be like, you know what? I feel like doing a bit of a design thing. There's information about that. I haven't put it in the description of this video, but it's linked in one of the other videos, or I'll link it. If you want to design some merch where any profit that I make, I won't keep the profit. I'll give half of it to you, the designer. I'll give the other half to a charity. It could just be a nice little project to do over the next couple of weeks before you head off to university. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about my summer. Now, I don't know if I really mentioned this in any of the live streams, but in the summer, my husband and I took a massive trip where we started from Izmir, which is obviously in Turkey, and we did this huge trip across Europe. We literally had not a clue where we were going. We had a flight booked to Izmir because, I don't know if you know this, but I'm learning Turkish, and my Turkish tutor lives in Izmir, and we decided to do like a trip. Like, we don't know. We also didn't know how long the trip was going to be either. We had no idea how long the trip was going to be. And this is what we ended up doing. Someone said, did I keep up my Anki streak? No, I did not keep up my Anki streak. I had to do like 250 words at one point. But Anki's like a language learning thing that we're using. So I started in Izmir. This was the route we did. We went to Istanbul and then to there's some islands near Istanbul, which are very, very beautiful, like right next to the city. And then we took a bus to Sozopol, which is in Bulgaria. And then we hired a car and went to this place called Plovdiv. Then we went to these beautiful mountains, which I'm going to show you some photos of. The capital, which is Sofia. We drove to Thessaloniki, which is in Greece, and which was incredible food. I'll show you some pictures from all of this sort of stuff as well. And then afterwards, it was really hard to get from Greece to Albania. It was like either 3 buses. Trying to cross the border was really difficult because it's not part of Europe, so it wasn't in the Schengen zone. So we actually had to fly there. We were trying to do it without flying. And then when we were in Albania, we went to the beach. I'm not going to show you beach pictures because I don't want you to see pictures of me at the beach. I just think it's going to be weird. And then we went up to like the countryside, some beautiful mountains. And then we took a ferry. We took a night ferry, which I've also got a picture of. This night ferry that felt like we were in, like, literally in the 1980s or 1990s. Like, nothing had changed about it. And we took that ferry over to Italy, and then we did the last few days around the heel of Italy that we had here. Yeah, oh yeah, I did, yes. I'm wondering how you knew my friend Yalcin. My friend Yalcin was mentioned in one of my Turkish videos. I did see my Turkish friend Yalcin when I was in Istanbul, which was amazing, and it's really, really great to be able to practice some Turkish with him. So, just a few pictures that I'm going to show you. This was the most incredible feast. In Turkish, there's a phrase called sofra kurmak, which means to kind of like to make a feast table. And this was made by like my Turkish tutor. She made so many different dishes. I can't even begin to name all of them. And you can see there's like pictures from her kid in the background, and we went and had this amazing dinner with her. And there's this drink that you have that's called rakı, which is like a very aniseedy drink that you have with water. Maybe you've had like ouzo or something in Greece before, it was like that. And then this was like shalgam. You may have heard of shalgam, probably not. It's like a pickle juice, and it's like really savory kind of tasting as well. It's kind of really crazy, but it was delicious. Yeah, there was corn on the cob as well. So I was just going to show you a few pictures because this is always like, is it a bit cringe? Probably it's a bit cringe, but anyway, I just thought I'd tell you more. This was also, I'm obsessed with Turkish food. These are like They're called kofte, but they're not meat kofte. They're called chi kofte, which is like raw. Chi means raw, and they're like lentils, like a kisir type thing, like squeezed with like loads of spices, and they're completely raw. And you have them with lettuce. They're really tangy, absolutely insanely delicious. It was so good. And I did go to my barber Poyraz as well, so you can. I don't know if you can see here, like hair's looking very basic, and then hair, we've got like the trim. I've had my Turkish barber kind of got me sorted out for this. I don't know, does anybody play backgammon? It's called tavla in Turkish. So I play a lot of backgammon when I'm in Turkey. It's a very, very popular game. So I was playing a lot of that, which was really, really awesome. This was in Istanbul still. This was a potentially a low point, but maybe now a bit of a highlight. I'm not I'm not doing anything dodgy at the side of the road. We had like picked the car up when we were in this place over here, and we were starting this like 4 hour drive to Plovdiv, and we got onto the high road, the motorway, and I started driving the car at like 130 kilometers per hour, and the engine, like the lights flash on being like engine failure, and the car like completely dies, and it's going 130 kilometers per hour, and I have to pull over to the side of the road. It's like 40-degree heat, so I'm like hiding under this like sewage tunnel thing to try and get a bit of shade while we waited like an hour, only an hour in the end, for someone to come and pick us up, which was crazy. And actually, this man came along with this pickup truck, and we were like, oh, it's the people who are going to come and rescue us. We got in the car with this man with the pickup truck. He didn't speak any English because he was Bulgarian. Why would he speak English? And eventually it transpired he was just a guy with a pickup truck who was going to help us. And we just got in the car with him. Didn't even ask at all. Nobody recognized me on the trip. I don't think I've got any European fame, which is good. We were in Turkey for 1 week. We did Bulgaria for a week. And things like that. So this was also in Bulgaria. This is like an old sort of amphitheater, and there was a concert on that we had no idea. They were like, oh, there's like the music of the Queen, and we were like, oh, I didn't know Bulgaria even had a Queen. And we then Googled it on our phone, and it turns out it was Queen, the band with Freddie Mercury, featuring loads of like Bulgarian musicians. So we were like, okay, we love Queen, we have to go and see that. So that was absolutely awesome to go to as well. And then still in Bulgaria, this was up in the mountains. This was an area called the Seven Lakes, where unsurprisingly there are 7 lakes, and just did the most incredible hikes. You had to get like a ski lift to the top. You can see like one of the lakes down here. I mean, you know, it's that typical thing that photos just never do these places justice at all. Like the feeling of being there, like surrounded by like all of this incredible nature, is just absolutely stunning. And that was a great day. That was a really, really fantastic kind of thing that we had there as well. Only a couple more photos as well. This was then in Albania. Again, I didn't really have many good pictures of the nature in Albania, but just the mountains were absolutely insane, and it was just stunning. There's one other part of the nature in Albania, which was here. This was like a blue eye lake. It's, again, the colours doesn't show up as well as you can imagine it being in person. This was a lake that was fed by a melting glacier. So I went for a swim in it, but oh my God, I must have been in there for like 10 seconds and was like freezing cold. You imagine like a glacier that's melted. It was absolutely crazy. So there were, it was cold. It was really, really, really cold here. I'm pleased someone's saying the pictures are beautiful. That's very, very nice. Thank you, Satoshi. I wonder how many other pictures I've got. Oh, this was the ferry. Do you remember I said we got a ferry across from Albania to Italy? There was like no one there. It was like creepy, you know, like liminal spaces. It had like very liminal spaces kind of feeling. It was like something straight out of the 90s. We had a little cabin, had to stay overnight on it. It was good fun. And I think I've just got one more picture in Italy, because Italy is my favorite country in the world, and it's just like everyone is so cool. There's delicious food, the drinks are amazing, the weather was incredible. The sea was incredible. We did so much swimming. It was absolutely phenomenal. And then after all of this, I came back, had a few days in London, then went up to the Edinburgh Fringe Festival, which is a festival for theatre and comedy, musicals, like all sorts of stuff like that, which was absolutely phenomenal. We go every year to do that and see, I think we saw 14 or 15 shows. Like, it was insane, absolutely wonderful. And then what else have I done since that? I've been playing a lot of Donkey Kong Bonanza on the Switch too, which is good. Not as good as like Mario games and stuff, but I've been enjoying that kind of stuff as well. And then I saw a film. Anybody seen Weapons? I saw Weapons and was like, this is insane, but I did quite like it. Evie says, have I been to Stockholm? I have not been to Stockholm. I have been to Barcelona though. Barcelona is absolutely amazing. Barcelona, especially in the summer, would be great. If you go to Stockholm, it's going to be late sunshine, which would be really cool too. Definitely do a last minute trip before uni. So what I'm going to do is answer any of the questions that you guys might have, and then we'll probably wrap this up. So I know there were a few questions that I maybe had missed earlier on. I feel like I used to do this as a teacher. I used to show at this after the summer holidays. I'd be like, "Hey, form, let me show you my photos," and they would be like, "Sir, we don't want to see your photos," and I'd be like, "I don't care. I'm showing you my photos anyway." And I've realised I've now just done this on a much bigger scale. So for all of you who have stayed and seen some of my boring holiday photos, even though I didn't think it was a boring holiday, I thought it was incredible. Thank you for sitting through that. Oh, good. Okay, I'm pleased. I'm pleased. Sharik, yes, I have been to the Blue Mosque in Istanbul. It's called the Sultanahmet. I tend not to go there anymore because my family live on the other side of the Bosphorus, so I tend not to go to that area. But yeah, I do like it there. It's absolutely beautiful. Okay, good. I'm pleased people liked seeing some of the holiday photos as well. So can you just think of us as your online... Yes, you are literally like my online form class. You are like my online form class. And someone says, did I do any maths during the summer? No, I did not do any maths. I'm already feeling a bit nervous about having to like the first like crazy integral that I'm going to need to do. But I think it's going to feel like riding a bike. I think it's going to be something that just kind of comes back like straight away. So I'm hoping that the maths is going to come back. And for those of you who are going to be doing maths at university and you think, oh, I've had a massive break from doing maths, I think it's all going to be absolutely fine. I think it will just come back to you. You'll suddenly be like, oh yeah, sine differentiates to cos, and the integral of 1 over x is ln x and stuff like that. You know, I'm hoping I haven't forgotten those things. Okay, any other questions about results day or any advice that I can give you? And then if not, I'll kind of like summarize some of those things. And please, people were happy to see the holiday photos. It is a bit self-indulgent, so I won't be offended if anybody was like, what's going on with that? Oh yeah, someone said, how was my results day experience? Okay. My results day experience. So I'll talk about my results day experience, the most recent one that I had. The most recent one, I know it sounds silly. I was nervous because I knew I was going to share the modules that I got, the grades that I got in each of these exams. And so that made me feel nervous, but I was still as a teacher. So I knew I was going to have done well, and I still had students that I knew that were at school. So I kind of went in with like a teacher mentality. But if I remember being 18 when I went and collected my results, I remember being so nervous in the build up to it, because I think I had put so much pressure on myself to do well. We didn't have A stars back in my day. So getting an A, you know, you weren't actually even having to get that next step up to get the A star. So I think that added pressure of an A star these days is probably quite challenging. However, how did I feel? I did feel nervous, but then as soon as I was there, that nerves all converted into excitement and happiness. And I wish I'd held on to that positivity for a little bit longer, which is why I mentioned that earlier on as well. Someone says about boundaries. I really have no idea about boundaries. I have no idea what to say about boundaries. Alicia says, should you do anything for preparing? You haven't touched it since exams. Probably a good thing that you could do, Alicia, is you could request your scripts back from the exams officer when you get your grades, so that you can see them, and you could try and, you know, go through the questions that you did again, just kind of refresh yourself and be like, oh, the previous version of me did this. It would be a really healthy thing to do just as like a couple of weeks before you go to university to do maths. But if you don't want to do that, you also don't have to do that as well. Someone is saying, oh, the boundaries coming out today or tomorrow morning. So I think the schools know what the boundaries are, but individuals, I don't know like what the boundaries are, so not sure about that as well. And Villius says, did I expect any of my results to not be as high as you expected? As in, did I think I was going to do better in any of them? No, I think the results were pretty fair that I got. I was pretty happy with all my results when I was 18 and at this point as well. I'm not doing a maths-based degree. There'll be lots of stats, hopefully going to medicine. Yeah, I would keep your CG50. If you keep your calculators for a long time, and I mean a long time, they become like vintage. And so if you want to hold on to your calculators, that's also a thing that you could be doing as well. Someone said, did I sit all of the old Edexcel mechanics modules up to M5? Yes, I think I did. I definitely did M1, M2, M3, M4. I think I did M5 as well. And that's part of why I'm so obsessed with mechanics, because I did so much of it when I was at school. Katie says, why was the A star added? I think because universities wanted a way to like differentiate between top candidates. So I think it was pressure from like Russell Group universities to say, we don't want students with 3 A's, we want A stars. We want to be able to pick out like the best of the best with that. And that happened a few years after I did my A levels. Although I like to think I would have got 3 A stars. That's something I would like to have thought that we've got here. What else have we got here? Do I think the boundaries are going up or down considering what happened in maths paper 2? The trend is that the boundaries are going up. We'll only truly know until we see tomorrow, though, that we've got here. Nice to see we've got people doing maths at uni. Fraxmatic, I can't really read that name, but that's good to see. You got 3 A stars in your mocks. If I don't meet that tomorrow, how would you deal with not meeting that when it matters? I think just if you put your best effort into those exams, Evie, then you should be proud of yourself no matter what. There are so many other things that happen as different factors on the day, and those 3 letters, or letters, stars, whatever it is, they are not a reflection on who you are as a person or even a mathematician. They are a reflection of who you were in the exam hall on those afternoons when you sat the exams. So don't let those grades define who you are. Let those grades just be a measurement of what you were like at that particular time. And I think that's a better way to think about these kinds of grades that we have here. Katie says, what did I take at A levels? I did maths, further maths, physics, history, and French. I don't know why. I don't know why I did 5, but I did 5, and I loved that as well. Further maths was the best, obviously. Most schools are 8 a.m, but you should have an email from your school about what time they'll be opening that we've got there. What else have we got here? My old teacher used to have a drawer with all the calculators she has ever had. That's such a maths teacher thing. Maths teachers love to hold on to their calculators. I've lost too many of them. What else have we got here? How was my Oxford experience? I had a really good experience at Oxford. I think people think that Oxford is going to be like this insanely academic, wonderful place to be where everyone is learning. It's just a university at the end of the day. Like, you can learn and be a successful person wherever you go. I think the funny thing about Oxford is that everybody else thinks it's so good. So you tell people you went to Oxford and they think that you're like really, really smart. But I kind of don't like it when I meet someone and they're like, oh, I went to Oxford. I mention it to you a lot because I think it's important that as a YouTuber whose whole thing is about education, I think it's kind of a good thing to say, to show off, basically. But I don't like it when other people show off when it's like adult to adult. I'm always like, that's so weird. Even though I talk about it all the time and I show off here, so I'm probably being very contradictory, but whatever. What have we got here? Do you need a clearing personal statement kind of thing? I'm actually not sure about that. I don't know if you need a personal statement for anything with clearing. I don't think you do. I think they just talk about what grades you've got and then you just kind of get taken through. And even if you don't meet the grades for your insurance or your firm, you can sometimes call up and say, hey, I was really close. I was only like a couple of marks off. Because you can find out what individual marks you got in your A-levels. Maybe you missed it by 1 mark. They might say, that's okay, you can still come. They might not. It depends. I've heard stories both ways for this kind of thing, okay? When do I think... Let me just quickly read this a second. Do I need... I'm actually doing film production at uni. I want to do well in maths. Yeah, if you've worked hard on something, you deserve to do well, okay? That's such a good thing. This is to... Number 1, guitar duck lover. Yeah, if you're doing film production, it's so important that you do well in the subjects you've put the time into. You deserve that for sure. What else have we got here? I would keep your CG50 if you're doing something like mathsy kind of stuff, for sure, for sure. And then I think I'm reaching 100k subscribers. I think probably February or March kind of time. I am so excited for that. I think that is going to be the moment when I truly, truly feel like a YouTuber. Like, I truly will feel like a YouTuber when I get 100k subscribers. And Regia, I appreciate that so much, saying I'm a good teacher. Thank you so much. Yeah, pretty much loads of maths exams are going to be non-calculator at uni, but some of them will be calculator, because you're not going to do many calculations. It's mostly like weird ideas and stuff. Gosh, I don't know how long I spent on my personal statement. I wrote it. I think back then personal statements didn't feel like a big deal. I literally just wrote it and was like, great, that's my personal statement. I think there's a lot more kind of focus on that as well. Okay, this question is now relevant. What's your advice to anyone going into year 13? I'm hoping for A-star AA predictors, still waiting to hear back from my school. That's really good. I'd love to know what other people would say to Mohammed Usman about like what advice for going into year 13. Anybody, you know, there's so many year 13s in this chat right now. I would love to know what kinds of things that you would say to Mohammed. That's so good. I'm not a YouTuber, I'm a mathematician. That is true. It is free to get your scripts for your A-levels. I would definitely do that. At least it was free at my school. So it might not be, but definitely, even if it's like a small price, I think it's probably worth doing. It should be very easy for your exams officer to get that. So if you're going into year 13 right now, I would say making sure you're really solid on things like exponentials and logarithms, trig equations, differentiation and integration, because those topics come back around. Exponentials and logarithms gets used everywhere, and then trig, differentiation and integration comes back around, but with the volume seriously turned up as well. I love someone saying do not leave the revision too late. It just adds stress for this kind of stuff. My advice is that everyone will be doing more than just the classes, so always go above and beyond and you'll be great. Yeah, going above and beyond. I mean, you're already on a live stream checking out what's going on. You're obviously a motivated student asking for this as well. Oh yeah, when we say scripts, exam scripts, we literally mean the exam paper that you wrote on is called your exam script. So you can get a PDF of that with your handwriting on it, so you can see what marks that you've got there as well, okay? So I'm going to summarize some of the things that we've said. Tonight, you're going to feel nervous. That is very natural and very normal that you've got here, okay? I wouldn't expect to have a good night's sleep. So if you're lying there wide awake at night, just think, oh, when is it going to be morning? I just can't wait to get it over with. And you don't need to worry about being tired for the rest of the day, because you are going to be full of adrenaline. And I'm sure you're going to have some fantastic celebrations with your friends and family. The weather's great. I hope tomorrow is going to be one of the most memorable, amazing, celebratory days that you'll ever have. If you are unsure, as soon as this live stream finishes in the next few minutes, have a contingency plan. If you're not sure that you're going to get the grades that you want, spend half an hour or an hour being like, okay, if I miss my firm and I get my insurance, am I going to take it? My advice would generally be yes, because you put it as your insurance. You obviously like it enough to put it there. It's a big deal taking a whole year off to go and redo exams. I generally advise people to go to university. Obviously, it depends on each individual, so I'm not going to give blanket advice like that. But generally, I'm like, you know what? It's good to just get yourself to university. The difference between X and Y university is not typically that big. And again, if you miss the insurance and the firm, have a plan of what that contingency is. Think through that now. Talk to your parents about it. Make sure that you think about a particular teacher, head of sixth form, senior leader at your school, who you trust, who you know has your best interests at heart, who will look out for you on that day. And then that leads me on to looking out for your friends. If you see someone that's crying or someone that's upset, just be a friend. Just talk to them. You don't have to say, oh, what's wrong? What did you not get the grades? Just be like, oh, I'm sorry that you're upset. Like, let me know if there's anything I can do. And remember what I said. Don't say to people, what grades did you get? It is so much nicer to say, I hope you're happy with how you did. Are you happy? Did you get the grades that you wanted? Are you really pleased with how you've done? Because you don't need to know what grades your friends got. All you really need to know is, are they happy? If you need to find out what grade someone else got, so you want to find out you did better than them so that you feel better, that's not good. You want to feel good about your grades because you did well in your exams, not because you did better than other people in your class, okay? That's something I feel very strongly about. And then the other couple of things I've said is take the time to feel happy and proud of yourself before moving on to the next thing. Don't just be like, okay, I've done that, I've done A-levels, now let's start thinking about university. Really, really enjoy it. Let your family celebrate it. Let your parents buy you a gift. Let your older brother or older cousins take you out for food. Whatever it is that you can do, is celebrate. Celebrate, celebrate, celebrate. And then lastly, let me know what happens. I'd love to know what happens when I post this video tomorrow. I'm going to post a video sort of saying that, okay? I will leave it on a happy note. I have had the most incredible summer, knowing that I had supported so many of you guys with live streams and the paid for sessions and all of that kind of stuff. And I just want to say a huge thank you to everybody who's kind of supported me on YouTube. I say this all the time and I'm never going to stop saying this. It is a complete dream come true. I started teaching in 2010 and I found it difficult to teach, because it is difficult to teach. And I loved it when I could impact the lives of some students, gosh, like 15 years ago when they were doing A-levels. And now I get to do that on an even bigger scale. It is insane, okay? Like, I'd say it's a dream come true. I never even had this dream. I never even knew that this could be happening. So thank you so much for supporting me. And I guess this is going to be sort of the last live stream of the academic year. Please do stick around and pop into any live streams in the future. There's nothing I love more than someone being like, hey sir, last year I got this grade and now I'm at this uni. I just wanted to say hi. Stuff like that I really, really love. There's so many lovely comments in here as well, saying that my teaching style is enjoyable and things like that. A round of applause. That's so nice. Thank you, Maisie. I'm so happy I get to do this as my job. I am so happy I get to do this as my job. I like pinch myself every day. So I guess this is sort of goodbye now. Goodbye for the last live stream that we've got here. And I really hope that you get everything that you need from tomorrow, that you feel supported by your friends and family, that you support your friends and family. And if you see your teachers who you know have really helped them, tell them how much they meant to you, because it will mean the world to them if you go up to them and say how much you enjoyed their lessons. Teachers will feel very, very pleased if you say that kind of stuff, okay? Please look out for my video when I film and post it tomorrow. I would love to hear how it goes for you guys. Go and do something relaxing, treat yourself tonight. It'll all be finished in, what, about 16 hours, maybe a little bit less than that. And you'll be able to relax knowing that you've got what you need, okay? This is not goodbye. This is just one of the memories we made together. It's true. I feel sad, but I will look out for comments and things from you guys tomorrow, okay? So, wishing you the best for tomorrow. I will be thinking of all of you, and I guess this is goodbye. Thank you so much, guys. Bye.